Viewer discretion is advised. Fuck. Sally Hawkins. Hi guys, my name's Barry and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into the ending of 2025's Bring It Back starring Sally Hawkins. If you've seen it, you'll know that the finale is disturbing and somewhat confusing, and it leaves some questions unanswered. So I'm going to do a breakdown on this video in 4 parts. First, I'll explain what happens at the end. Secondly, I'll answer why Laura specifically chose Piper as the sacrifice. Third, I'll go through how the ritual actually works. And lastly, we'll go through the hidden meaning as to why Laura made the decision that she did at the end. So if you're ready to unpack this twisted ending, let's get into it. Throughout the movie, we piece together what actually happens with Laura and her past. We find out that she had a daughter called Kathy who drowned in the garden pool. Laura also obsessively follows this old VHS that shows some sort of ritual and explains how the ritual works to bring a dead loved one back to life. It looks to be a brutal occult ritual that I don't think Laura minds because she just really wants her daughter back. She grooms Oliver, who is actually a kidnapped boy called Connor, to become this demonic vessel in this dark ceremony. Oliver, possessed by a demon, increasingly falls apart, biting himself and even Laura, and ultimately consuming Kathy's frozen corpse to complete the ritual. Andy, Piper's stepbrother, and Wendy, the social worker, uncover the truth as to what's happening. They see Oliver biting on the dead corpse of Kathy. Laura violently intervenes. She kills Wendy by a car and then she drowns Andy in this rain puddle. Laura then drags blind Piper into the pool, the intended vessel where Kathy died, and Oliver, still possessed, begins regurgitating Kathy's body, and then Laura initiates this drowning, mimicking Kathy's death. At the pivotal moment though, Piper cries out, "Mom!" and then she triggers this glimmer of humanity in Laura. She stops what she's doing, then she releases Piper, and then Piper gets away to safety. Oliver, aka Connor, steps out of the ritual circle. The possession then ends, and then he returns to his senses as this lost boy, Connor. In the final shot of the movie, it was so disturbing because we see Laura cradling her daughter's corpse in the pool as the police are closing in on her. So that's what actually happened at the end of the movie, but how does the ritual actually work? Well, let's look into it. The ritual requires a perfect circle of salt around wherever the vessel is being held. It's meant to contain the demon that carries the dead child's spirit. Breaking the circle disrupts the possession. This is why Oliver can't leave while he's possessed. The host, in this case Oliver/Connor, must consume the corpse of the dead child. In this case, this would be Kathy. We know that Kathy died a long time ago, but Laura has kept her in this freezer all this time. So this would be the step that actually binds Kathy's spirit to the host. It's framed as essential to transfer life back to the body, but twisted and demonic. Laura grooms Oliver to do this, and he does it under possession. Laura then needs to drown the new vessel, in this case Piper, in the same pool that Kathy drowned in. The pool is crucial because the place of death becomes a place of rebirth. The ritual text on the VHS states that she must drown where she died, or the equivalent situation. Piper is chosen because she's vulnerable, easily taken, and she's the right age, but we'll get more into that later on. In one of the tapes, there's a cryptic line: "She will come to the voice that calls her mother." This rule is why Laura insists that Piper calls her mum.
You can call me Mum if you like.
It's meant to lure Kathy's spirit fully into Piper at the moment of the drowning. It also explains why Piper crying "Mum" triggers Laura's crisis at the end, and it breaks the spell, dehumanizing logic. Laura's own blood is part of the ritual, so she bleeds into the salt to make the circle. She believes that her blood binds Kathy's spirit, and it gives the demon permission to restore her. The occult text makes it clear you can't just bring her back. A living child must be sacrificed sacrifice to return a dead one. The demon doesn't resurrect, it swaps. This is why Laura abducts Piper, she's the replacement. So why did it fail? It all looked like it was going to Laura's plan, but at the end she didn't realise that when Piper shouted out a genuine "Mum," she got a fright and she just froze. She releases Piper instead of completing the sacrifice. The circle then breaks finally when Oliver steps out, ending that possession. And as mentioned, Laura is left alone, cradling Kathy's corpse with no successful resurrection. There is a hidden meaning behind that ending to bring her back, and I feel like it is a very, very human and powerful reason. The film isn't just about demons or possession, it's about Laura's overwhelming grief over losing her daughter Kathy in the way that she did. The entire ritual is really a twisted metaphor for that grief. Laura's obsession with bringing her back represents how impossible it truly is to let go. She's so desperate that she's willing to sacrifice another innocent child just to fill that void. But ironically, that same grief is what stops her in the end. When Piper cries out, "Mom," that just makes Laura snap. She realises even for a moment that she can't murder another child in Kathy's name. It's like the humanity she buried under all that pain comes back just long enough to break the ritual. So the hidden meaning is that grief that can consume you, twist you into something monstrous, but it can also be the thing that stops you from going all the way. It's what drives her to try that ritual and what ultimately makes her fail. It's a tragic cycle of love and loss, and that's what gives this film that emotional, gut-punching ending.
Just for Piper?
Oh no, my daughter's blind.
It was also no coincidence that Piper was this blind girl and Kathy was also blind, so it has to be almost identical when she's trying to sacrifice Piper and bring back Kathy. But that's something that also made her realise that what she's doing is morally wrong. Ultimately, it's a horrifying story about grief turned into a horror movie metaphor, and it's honestly one of the more unsettling occult plots we've seen in a long time. So do you think Laura was a victim of her own grief, or do you think she was just a monster? What do you interpret as the ending to this movie? And if you enjoyed this video, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe if you can, and then leave a comment in the comment section. That helps the video as well. But leave your comments and opinions down below anyway. And thanks a lot for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you soon.
I'll be right back.
What are you waiting for, huh?
Coming to get you, Barbara.
Ever played in the cat?
Someone's in the back!